Okay, I have my Brandon Sanderson deck again that I thought we would use to achieve some magic together. Okay, in fact, we actually don't need very many cards for this. So if you were here, I'd have you randomly cut off, probably just a little bit more than half, and we'll discard those. Oh, in fact, I could even give you the choice, come to think of it. So let's do that. So let's say you cut off like that much. That's probably about half. This is less than half there, which is fine. So which of these two would you like us to work with? You want the bottom half, nonetheless. Okay, so we'll discard the top. We don't need that. Okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to deal out the cards until you tell me to stop dealing. Stop there. Okay, very good. And then we're going to perform something called the Rosette Shuffle. This is where you just spin the cards. And if you're here, I'd have you help me kind of bring these together in whatever way they want to interlace. Okay, so this is kind of mathematically equivalent to a riffle shuffle, actually, if you're interested. And from here, we need 2 piles of 8 cards. That's all we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we had a few extra, which is fine. Okay. Now we have these 2 piles here, and we're going to mix them with input from you, of course. And some of the mixing will be the same, but the most important mixing will be different and decided by you, actually. Okay, so maybe I'll move this one off to the side here so we can work with this one here. So what I'm going to do with this little packet of 8 cards is I'm going to deal it out into a triangle. Now, a reason that this is a really good way to mix a packet of 8 cards is for the simple reason that 3 is not a divisor of 8. So it really scrambles the cards in a very haphazard way. Now from here, for this pile here, for this little packet of 8, we're going to deal it out into 2 piles with random stacking decided by you. You want right on left? Okay. Okay, we'll do that again. In fact, you could do all of this. I want you to realize that. You could actually do dealing. You want right on left again? Okay. Would you like to do a third one? Yes. Okay. And will that be enough? After it will be? Okay. How would you like these stacked? Left on right. Okay, very good. And then to finish off, we'll go ahead and use this crazy dealing into a triangle. And then with a final 1, 2, 3, 4 for a pile of 4 cards there. We'll put it up here. And then a pile of 4 cards here that we'll come back to in just a moment. Okay, now this other half to our activity together, we'll go ahead and do the same triangle deal here. Okay, great way to mix the cards. Now we're going to deal out into 2 piles, kind of as before, but in a very different way. And we can do as many of these as you like. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull off the top and bottom. It's called the Klondike Shuffle. Top and bottom into a right-hand pile, a left-hand pile, and then the final 2 in the right-hand pile. How would you like these stacked? Right on left? Okay. Now, a note to you as the performer, you can perform as many of these as the spectator calls for. It's true for over here as well. When I did the left-right shuffling with random stacking, you could have done 3 of those or 3,000 of them, if the spectator has the patience for it, as well as you, of course. How would you like these stacked? Left on right? Okay. Would you like to do a third one? It's your choice. Okay. Very good. So top and bottom off is 1 into a left pile, then right pile, then left pile, then right. How would you like these stacked? Left on right? Okay. Would you like to do just one final one? You would. Okay. We can do that. But just know that you can do as many of these as you like. If the spectator wants to do 7 of them, that's fine. How would you like these stacked? Left on right. Okay. And then we'll do our final triangle deal, which further scrambles the cards. And then we'll do the same thing we did over here. We'll just deal out half the cards, pile of 4 and a pile of 4. So we have 4 piles of 4. Okay. Well, what do you think we've accomplished together using this special deck here? Okay, were we able to achieve some magic together? And is it really this particular deck that's helping us accomplish that? Well, you can give that some thought on your own. But the remarkable thing that I've discovered regarding using these cards is this very routine that I'm showing you here, in which the spectator is sounding in on the most important choices along the way. I mean, think about it. They cut off a certain number of cards from a full deck. They chose which half to work with, and we threw away, I think, the top half. We then dealt out as many cards to the table as you wanted us to deal. We did a messy rosette shuffle and brought those two together. I simply dealt out 8 cards into one pile and 8 cards into a second. From there, we dealt out into 3 piles and then 2 piles, where you were deciding the stacking and how many times we dealt out into 2 piles. And one way was just a standard left, right, and the other way was this interesting Klondike shuffling of pairs, left, right, with random stacking decided by you. Okay, that's the important thing. And then we finished with a dealing out into 3 piles, and then I just dealt 4, left the remaining 4, I dealt 4, and left the remaining 4. Where did all of that bring us? Well, I'm confident that it's achieved the same thing that I've seen in the past. It's accomplished a perfect harmony in the universe in which we live. In what sense? Well, it's actually achieved a perfect balance of the 4 suits. Kind of like the 4 corners of the earth. Every corner of the earth is represented. Club, heart, spade, diamond. Club, heart, spade, diamond. Club, heart, spade, diamond in some order. Club, heart, spade, diamond in some order. It did it yet again. Okay, wow. Get your hands on this deck of cards. Whoa. Okay, so how does this work? If you just do everything that I did, it will work. Let me tell you what the setup of the deck is. That's really the only missing piece, because then if you follow the procedure here, it will work for you every time. Well, some of you may have noticed in the original arrangement of the cards on the table, I had the cards in chased order. Clubs, hearts, spades, diamonds. So you can have the original deck in any cyclic arrangement relative to the 4 suits. That's the key. And then from there, they can cut off any number. Now, you do need 16 cards for this, so don't have them throw away everything just about. But you can work with the ones they cut or the ones they leave, as long as you have 16. From there, we performed a GILBREATH shuffle. Okay, so that's where I dealt the cards out until you said stop. And then we did a rosette shuffle. Those 2 actions together constitute a GILBREATH shuffle of a cyclic packet. The cyclic packet here is a repeating pattern of the 4 suits. Okay, so by the GILBREATH principle, each set of 4 cards after that rosette shuffle will consist of a club, heart, spade, diamond in some order. We won't know the order of the suits, which is fine. From there, what we did is we dealt out 2 piles of 8 cards. Okay, so what that would mean then is the top 4 of each of those piles would have 1 card of each suit, as well as the bottom 4. And that will be true for both piles of 8. Well, such a packet, when dealt out in this triangle arrangement with the stacking as I showed, will convert those packets into Bessey sequences of order 8. Why is that significant? Once you have the cards in that arrangement, they are protected against hundreds of unique ways of mixing the cards without destroying the fundamental structure of the Bessey sequence. Now, I chose to keep it very simple For one pile of 8, we just did a left-right shuffle with random stacking and did as many of those as the spectator called for. For the other pile of 8, I did this alternate Klondike, it's called, where you Klondike pairs, one to the left, one to the right, left, right, and random stack. And you can do as many of those as you like. Those are just 2 shuffles of dozens that could have been performed and not harm anything. So in the end, after that mixing, we still have a Bessie sequence of order 8, and I will add a link in the description below that will teach you about these remarkable, magical, amazing organization of a packet of cards that we refer to as Bessie sequences or quasi-Bessie sequences, depending on the size of the packet. And then once we did that mixing, we converted it back to what it was before it was a Bessie sequence, namely 2 blocks of 4 cards each, top 4 and the bottom 4 of each pile of 8, where within that top 4 there's 1 of each suit, and where for the bottom 4 there's also 1 of each suit. Okay, and then I just dealt out 1, 2, 3, 4, set the remaining ones down, 1, 2, 3, 4, set the remaining ones down. So the remarkable thing here is ordinarily after the GILBREATH shuffle, which was really right at the beginning almost, for 99% of card effects out there, you are at an end. That is the finale. The GILBREATH principle gives you this wonderful outcome of 1 of each suit in each set of 4. But we went so much further than that because of using Bessie sequences of order 8. Because once you get those piles of 8 into that organization, you can do so much more with the cards and not harm anything. So these Bessie sequences are relatively new, and they are revolutionizing the world of mathematical card magic. So in some sense, we're looking at old principles, the GILBREATH principle, and new principles, Bessie sequences of various orders. So thank you for watching, and take a look at the playlist that I'll add in the description below that talks about Bessie sequences and quasi-Bessie sequences, and learn about those and use them in your own magic. They're really quite remarkable. So thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.